Ladies and gentlemen, this is C-Double and Brian Tice. This is All Wrestling Talk Nation. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for checking out the shows, and also hope everyone had a great time at WrestleMania, watching WrestleMania last week. We had to rearrange some of the scheduling, so those will be determined later how we'll rearrange it. But today we have our special guest, Jessie Belle from the Indy wrestling circuit. And Jessie, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing very well right now. I'm just trying to get everything here set up so we can hold on, I got a little echo here thing going here. There we go. I was about to lose my mind. I thought I heard voices again. All right. Appreciate you coming on, being on the show. You're on the phone, and you're actually on the way to OVW, you told me. So we're gonna get it all into that. Brian, thanks for being on the show with me.
No problem.
We got a show on April 4th, Disciples of Christ. We are going to be having our big-time show called Champions Rising. We got a main event, heavyweight title on the line, Leatherface versus Nitrous. Got a couple other surprises in the mix. So check us out. We'll be at the Lions Club. That's plug for the good people over at the Wanderers Lion Club and DCWN. Also like to send out also people well wishes to the families of the wrestler that passed away a couple of weeks ago, the Mexican wrestler El Hijo, and also want to put a special thought out to Joey Kidman. We'll actually be honoring these the wrestlers that have fallen before the show on Saturday night. So with that being said, tomorrow night, Kathy Owens will be joining us. So check out the website. We'll have the time, everything set up. So y'all check out that interview. Also, on the 8th, Pandora will also be on the show, as well as Mark Brute on April 9th. So April's starting off with a bang. Jessie Belle, thank you so much. Let's go, now that the plugs are done with, let's go ahead and ask the first questions that always everyone loves to ask. What in the worldwide sports got you into indie wrestling?
I've always been a humongous wrestling fan, to be honest. Like, absolutely loved it. From the time that I was a kid, I grew up watching the Attitude Era on WWE, and I always wanted to get into it. I had no idea how. I think when I was like 20, I met a guy who was in wrestling, and he took me to a show, and I was like, "You have to teach me how to do this. I want to do this. Like, you're teaching me." And at first he tried to be like, "No, I'm not going to do it." And I'm like, "Well, that's fine, because any one of these other guys here will teach me how." So basically put him between a rock and a hard place. He let me be his manager and his valet. So I did that for about like 3 years. We split up, and I sought out further training.
All right. Is there any questions you'd like to ask there first, Brian?
As you know, as we're talking about the training, go on some details about your training. Who all had to help and hand in your training?
There's a lot of but the most influential, of course, will be my top, Tracy Smothers, the Queen of the Death Match, Nikki Knuckles, a woman by the name of Diane Von Hoffman. She helped me out some when I very, very first got started. I did a lot of training in Texas with a guy named Flying Frankie Thomas, and some of Brickhouse Brown's. I worked with him. I worked with some of Dr. Depp's trainees. And then Ohio Valley Wrestling, you know, I trained there in and out, like as I came through there in between moving around. And then Brian Knobbs, and I did for several months. I did weekly seminars with Chris Hero. So I would say like the most influential people in my training would be Tracy Smothers, Nikki Knuckles, Brian Knobbs, Ohio Valley Wrestling, and Chris Hero.
Awesome. What was your biggest what's your biggest challenge in wrestling? You know, was it the bumps? Was it physical? Was it more physical? Was it more getting that mindset of knowing you're going to put your body through some stuff? What was the biggest challenge for you to against?
The biggest challenge for me to come up against was being a female in wrestling, really. I've always been athletic. I've always played varsity sports all through grade school, middle school, high school. I'm not scared to take a lick or two. It was never the bumps. It was basically coming to the realization of what it takes to make it to the big league in wrestling.
All right. So with that being said, what's question you got there?
Where do you see yourself with wrestling? Where you what's if you had the chance to go to any organization, what organization would you like to go to?
I'd really like to see what Global Force is going to end up doing. I think that me and my sister Isabel Smothers would be an amazing tag team and asset to their company. I basically just want to do shine, maybe do some stuff in Canada or like over in like England, Italy, stuff, that's about it. I literally just want to wrestle, and people think I'm kidding. That's really all I want to do. If I'm making all right money at it and I'm able to take care of myself and do what I have to do, I just want to wrestle. That's it.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, because people talk about gimmicks and everything, or live the life, live the style, live what you want to do. Let's go this further. I've seen you in a match. I've seen you in quite a few matches, actually. Against Pandora, I've seen you against her a couple of times. I've seen some matches with Jordan Grace, Mickey Knuckles. I have to ask, or more like this, give the audience an idea who haven't seen Jessie Belle. Who is Jessie Belle? What's the character? What is it, she's all about?
Well, that's easy. I'm the second generation female sensation, the wild-eyed Southern girl, Tracy Smothers' daughter. If you want to get an idea of who I am, it's basically Daisy Duke meets Ellie Mae Clampett meets that really mean girl from high school that everybody hated but secretly wanted to be, and that's me.
Wow. Okay. Hold on. First of all, I wish you had video so you could see me actually wanting to give you a standing ovation, because that really you touched my heart there. First of all, everyone that loves the Dukes know Dukes Hazzard, Daisy Dukes, perfect. Then you got the, what we just served.
I'm looking for a wedding band.
Yeah, that me too, yeah. But anyway, no, what I got to say is this, though. Thank you. You got that question, you always know where you ask wrestlers, give me just a brief synopsis, just a peek. Pull the curtain. Who are you in that ring? And you just did it. And I just want to thank you, because there are sometimes guys, women and guys, they just, even though they've been in the ring, that when you ask them such a question, it's like it's almost like they hit the wall. They don't have a
character and they don't know who they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why their matches aren't entertaining.
Very, very true.
Very true. So I know I'm skipping you, but I'll make sure you ask. But let's ask this. When you wrestle, you obviously have ran the gambit of people that are experienced and not experienced, and the struggles they have. What the one thing that you could probably tell somebody, hey, figure this out and everything else will follow? What's that one thing you think it is?
I'm sorry. Can you reword that? What do I need to?
All right. You know how? Well, think about like the people that come in behind you, the ones that are learning. We just talked about how we see wrestlers that just can't find their niche. Do you think that is that number one thing that can hold someone back or propel them when they know what they are, they know what they could do, and they go with it? Or if that's usually the most common thing that holds guys back or women back?
The most common thing that holds everybody back, especially on independent wrestling, is the inability to tell a story, to get the fans emotionally involved. Everyone thinks that it's about doing all these cool moves and doing all these dives and hardcore matches and all this, silly stuff. But that's not it. Wrestling to me was always, it was about the story and it was about the character. It was about good versus evil. That's it. It's literally that simple. It doesn't matter what you do in the match. If the bad guy's the bad guy and the good guy's the good guy, that's it. Like, you want the fans to hate you if you're bad, and you want them to love you if you're good. And it's literally that simple. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. You can always wrestle around that and find, find something to do. But if you can get the fans behind you, that's all that matters.
That's right. I mean, and I love how you said that, because, see, when you break it down, it is how can you get the crowd to respond? Or go ahead and ask a question, because I'm.
Well, I mean, like she just said, I mean, getting the crowd behind you, that's the biggest selling point to any good wrestler, is making that crowd get behind you, even if you're a good guy or a bad guy. If you can get that crowd to love you or hate you, that's what makes you. Here's what I want to do. It's more or less when you were in training, and a lot of young people have gone past the pay your dues. Explain to some of these younger people that are getting in the business, women, men, about paying their dues to the organizations that they're with. You explain what you had to do to pay your dues to the organizations.
Oh, well, I mean, I drove to towns, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours away for free. Didn't get paid. I got there early. I set up the ring. I tore down the ring. I cleaned up everything in the locker room, like from piss buckets to, like pop cans to food. Like going through all like the chop classes, bump classes, insane cardio. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody shows up and tears down and sets up the ring. Nobody cleans. Everybody expects to just like walk on a show and be the star, and they want to know why they don't have the belt, but they're not flying the town. They're not doing what it takes to put on a successful show.
Tell them, girl. Just tell them. Just preach it. You're preaching. Especially those piss buckets. People need to remember that's a real deal. That we've seen a couple of places that are like that too, by the way.
There's lots of them. I've got tons of shows where, I'm in one locker room and my opponent's in the other locker room, and sometimes the locker room you're in doesn't have a way to get to the bathroom. So you go before the show, or you find a way, because you're there until after the show, after the fans leave.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and bring that up. So craziest place you've worked, maybe, like I said, a venue, whatever. And if you say a Georgia venue, we will forgive you. It's not a big deal. Maybe make them step their game up too. But, a venue that you've worked that you said, oh, God, no.
There's been a few bars that I've done shows in. You know what? There was this show in Lebanon, Tennessee, that I worked once, and there was very little ring security. There was no barricade, and those people loved their wrestling. And you know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely 100% real to them. I might lose you guys. If I do, I'll call you back in a few minutes. But I literally, I think I was about 3.5 years in, and a valet, and I had a fan, a woman, like, reached over and grabbed me. She literally ripped my top of, like, I just spent $380 on some brand new gear, and she ripped the top, completely destroyed it. I hit her like 4 or 5 times before security, and the ring emptied out, and it ended up taking the entire heel locker room, all of them, to come and form a circle around me to get me back into the locker room because there was a riot.
Wow. See, that happens. That happens. I know that you got really upset when someone grabbed your top and did that, but,
Well, no, hold on. My top wasn't a super revealing top. It was nothing was like shown. There was no issues like that. It just had some really nice lace work that was done in the front, and she like ripped the eyelets out of it. So it wasn't like there was anything exposed to the crowd or anything like that. I'm always really careful with my gear to where I won't have that issue. But no, she definitely ruined my top, and it was. She looked a lot worse walking out of it than my top being messed up. We'll say that.
Well, and then in this business that happens, especially as being an independent wrestler, you run into that situation where there's not enough security, or security sleeping and they're not paying attention.
Yeah, or they're watching the show.
Yeah.
and you hate that.
It's happened quite a few times that I was brought up old school, and Pops always told me, if a fan puts their hands on you, you put them in their place and make them second guess ever wanting to do that again.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at with it. If you make yourself and you want to put yourself in the show, you want to put your hands on me, I'm going to put you in your place. And you're going to realize real quick that it was a very, very bad idea, because think what you want to about wrestling being fake or whatever. All my training is very real. Everything that is done in wrestling, I can really break you in multiple places in a few seconds.
As you're
saying,
that's
what I'm going to do if you step over the line.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, I'm watching the same. I'm saying the same thing because what they don't understand is that they watch it on TV, don't look like it hurt and all this, but if we, as wrestlers, we know if we put it on for real, we can actually do a lot of damage to people.
Yeah, and if they're lucky, that's all I'm going to do is put them in an armbar, because usually I'll just punch you in the throat and you're going down. I don't care how big you are.
Okay, well, you just marry us. We really enjoyed this. You're bringing some knowledge that we're all just going, praise God for you. I had to say it. Sorry, it is what it is. But no, it's good because, in the business, we always want people that understand the way of the wrestler. You don't want someone that comes in thinking they know everything and are cocky throughout the whole show. What you have something?
It's like she said. I mean, when you're young, you're supposed to pay your dues to the organization. These guys that come in, you've been there, you've seen it.
I know.
She's been there, she's seen it. I've been there, I've seen it. 16 years in the business, you see these guys walk in, they don't want to do nothing, they want to just be a part of the show. Wham, I got a title. Well, look at the situation. What have you done for the company?
What is I was going to ask you, what in the business for you, when you have been in, you've been in matches and stuff, what's the one thing that's happened? And I'm talking in ring, something that happened that just, you both kind of, your opponent looked at each other and went, we got to keep going, and even though you had something that just came out of left field, you had any moment like that?
I don't know, because there's so many little instances, where that could happen. I've had my nose busted open and a few different. Oh well, no, it doesn't make it look.
I'm sorry.
Keep going. It's bleeding. It's all right.
It's good. It's good. It's just blood. They'll clean it up. What? All right. So tell us this. What has been the most fun crowd moment, wrestling match? What's your favorite matches to be a part of? And it doesn't have to be gimmicks. It could be against somebody that you just love working with. Who is your favorite opponents?
My favorite opponent that I get to wrestle on a more regular basis, definitely by far, would be Nikki Knuckles. Because, she trained me. She knows what I'm capable of. I know that she can do absolutely anything. So they're definitely fun matches when you go in, nobody's going, I don't ever have to worry, oh my God, what if I get hurt really bad? That's not going to happen against her. But I've also had some pretty awesome matches with a young this girl, her name is the Pennsylvania area. I ran almost a year-long angle with her at RWA Pro in West Newton, Pennsylvania. She's a very young but very good wrestler. I think that you guys will be hearing a lot out of her. And in the near future, because she learns quick, she's extremely respectful, she loves wrestling, and I think she's going to be very good.
And what's her name again? Because you kind of went in and out on that one.
Sarah Feeney.
Oh, wow. Actually, I'm going to be interviewing her on April 30th. And she said the match because I asked for a match so I can showcase you guys so people can see who I'm interviewing. She sent me the match with you. And I was
Which one?
It was, oh, God, it was in a gym. And I want to say I think you beat her, though, in this one. But it was a good match, actually. So I'm very impressed with that she said that one, because that was one of the first matches she sent me was that.
All the matches that I've had with her, I mean, it's been a few months since I've wrestled her, but I think she was still under 30 or under 40 matches. So taking that into consideration, I mean, she's done very well. Anything that you see with me and her, she hasn't had that many matches, so she's doing very good.
Yeah, I was very impressed watching you guys. You guys look like you were really flowing there. Let's do you have a question?
What in your best opinion or in your best way, how would you say to a young person that comes up to you and says, I want to get into the business? What would you say to them to either guide them in the right direction or maybe just tell them, think about it again?
Well, first and foremost, was set on, and how hard it is to make it or break it in wrestling. But I would tell them most important thing they need to do is get training from somewhere that's credible. Don't go to some random, spot show, that runs, in one county or two counties, and they've never produced a superstar or somebody who's made money in wrestling. If you want to make it in wrestling, if you're not doing it to make it and go somewhere and make money doing it, you're wasting your time. You're going to put a lot of pain on and stress on your body that you will feel as you get older because it wears on you. So you have to get credible training, and you need to be in shape. Like, you are wasting it. I literally hate it when I go to shows, and my sister put it the best way once. I brought her to a wrestling show with me in West Virginia. All of the boys were outside, just standing around, whatever, waiting for the venue to open or, something like that. And my sister looked around and she's like, where's all the wrestlers?
Oh, God.
Okay, that's from somebody who's completely ignorant to anything in wrestling. She's been to some Ohio Valley wrestling shows and a couple other shows with me where you could tell who the wrestlers were. They're in shape. They look professional. They look like somebody that you should buy a ticket to see. If you come in and you look, kind of like a joke, like you belong in the stands, that's where you should be. That's where you should be. If you do not look like a professional, you do not look like somebody should pay to see you, then why should they? You need to be in shape. You need to have professional gear. You need to have professional training. So I tell everybody, you can go to a school like Ohio Valley Wrestling. You can find, I think Monster Factory has produced some really good people. The 3D school, or go to somebody who has made money, like Brian Knobs, like Tracy Smothers, like Shane Douglas. There's Ricky Morton has a school. Jimmy Valiant has a school. Do your homework. Don't waste training just because you're getting cheaper training. You get what you pay for.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
If you're trying to get booked on a show and you're like, oh, well, I was trained by Joe Blow, nobody knows or cares who Joe Blow is.
Yep. Man, you sure you didn't train her? I mean,
I tried, but
yeah. I was about to say.
She had a good trainer.
Yeah, she did. Stayed away. No. Now, what? Okay, let's talk about this because I'm gonna go here. You do sound like you could become a promoter of wrestling. I'm not joking because I love the passion that's coming from you. My question is this: the state of wrestling. We could talk, the state of women wrestling, because I was talking about it while we were watching WrestleMania, and look, this is not the views. We're not trying to be something we're not. But what I'm saying is, I'm watching WWE, I'm watching TNA, I'm watching indie wrestling. The women's, it's almost like WWE is not really paying attention to the wrestling ability, where in NXT they are, which is WWE, and they have the time to do their matches. TNA have time to do their matches. What do you feel the role of a woman wrestler is, and are you hoping that it's going to get better over time? What things would you love to see women wrestlers get the opportunities to get afforded to?
I just want to see them. I just want to see women's wrestling given the credit. Now, given the chance to put on the show like the guys do. People think, oh, it's just, bells and whistles. They're just girls, blah, blah, blah. They run down WWE, for what's going on in the Divas division. I honestly, I've only seen one Divas match on WWE in the last year. At least in the last year. And I watched 40 minutes of promos on Raw, and I saw a 30-second Divas match. It makes me sick. Like, even if I was offered a contract here, you can come wrestle WWE and you can wrestle on Raw tomorrow night. I don't want to do it because I'm going to get 30 seconds. My intro is going to be on TV. Is there going to be a storyline? Is there going to be a purpose for the fans to get emotionally invested? Or or do they just want a picture of a hot chick that they can sell on a calendar for merchandise? I want to wrestle. That's all I want to do. So I've heard really good things. I watched some of NXT, and NXT was, way more entertaining than Raw was, for me.
Yeah.
And I haven't, but honestly, I gave up and quit keeping up with it. So I guess I'm ignorant as far as what's going on now, just because I don't get to, I'm not entertained by it, so I'm not going to watch it. If I want to watch wrestling, I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to look up some old stuff with Sensational Sherry or Candy Divine, or some old Trish Stratus, Lita, Judy Grable. I'm gonna watch Leilani Kai. I'm gonna watch old stuff that's entertaining, that tells a story, that has the characters. That's the wrestling that I fell in love with, and that's why I do it. That's what I want to see. I want to see that put on TV. I want the women's match to be given 7 to 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, if they
what they need to do, and I don't know what it would cost, but what they need to do. I know that there's Shine is out there. There's a couple other women's organizations. So one of the women's organizations needs to get some kind of TV time where that women can actually show that they can wrestle. That's myself.
Well, you guys,
yeah, go ahead.
If I were you guys, I'd keep an eye out for WOW. Women of Wrestling. It's ran by the same guy that it was, back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
I went out there 2 times, once to Vegas, once to California, to do some filming for them. They have all kinds, we did a whole show, a whole season's worth of a women's wrestling show. Right now he's working on selling it to a national network. Tons of networks want to pick it up, but they want to sell it. So that's what they're waiting on. I don't know if anything will come of it or not, but they had some really good women wrestlers. They had great storylines, and it was entertaining. Shine has a pay-per-view. They tape live in Ybor City in Florida every month. They're on WWN Live. That's where you can get the pay-per-view at. But it is an awesome show. There's a lot of the Shimmer Girls, a lot of local stories, entertaining wrestling.
That's why I set up All Wrestling Talk the way I did. A lot of guys, I get a lot of feedback from people saying, "Oh, you're just trying to get women on the show to trying to step out and try and just get women on the show." I'm like, well, yeah, I want to get them out because they're a hard-working crew that loves wrestling. They want that demographic out there. They put the work in. I mean, I've seen, like I said, for me, I've seen my favorite matches were matches with you and Pandora. And I can actually say I saw 2 women that really loved wrestling that went all out. And I think it's a disservice for you guys, to just, 1 match, 2 match. But I've seen enough women. I've talked to enough. I know Nalia Rose, Ronnie Nicole. There's a lot of women out there that can do some matches, and they have really good resumes. It's just not catching. It's just – people want too much eye candy, and sometimes that will hurt you.
Not trying to say anything bad. I do want.
What's funny is, here's the thing: it's not even the people that want that. It's not the fans that want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fans want women. Here's what I want in a women wrestler. I want to look at a girl and watch her wrestle and watch the way she carries herself and be like, you know what? I do not think that I want to piss that girl off.
Yeah.
Whether she's crazy, she's tough, whatever it is. That's the women wrestlers I want to see. Like Lady Tapa, we had me, Taylor Hendricks, Heidi Lovelace, the Blossom Twins, beautiful girls in OVW.
Yeah.
Lady Tapa they brought her in. She was supposed to be a heel. But guess what? The fans loved her. You know why? Because they could believe in it.
Yep.
They could believe that she could kill everybody. They were behind it. The fans want something that they can believe. They want to believe it. Every wrestling fan knows that, they know what wrestling is and take it for that, but they want the chance to escape for that little while watching the show, to escape from all the stuff they have going on in their personal lives. They want to become a part of the show, really feel like they're helping whoever it is they're cheering for, or they're hindering whoever it is they're screaming at. That's what they want. They want a believable women wrestler. They want the Mickey Knuckles. They want the Dementia Rose. They want the Lady Tapas. That's what they want. They need it. And it's WWE and TNA and all the other big companies that are shoving this you want supermodels down your throat. It drives me insane. I'm like, they want to hire people who don't care about wrestling and expect a good product.
Yeah. You said it perfect.
Exactly true right there, what you just said. Because I always thought eventually they would bring, the tag team division in with the women and all this, and they ain't done
They dropped
nothing.
the ball.
They just put them out there, and they're and now they got their own TV show on the network. Where what's it about? I mean, I hadn't even paid attention to it because I really don't care, because I want to see them wrestle. I don't want to see them in their life, what their life's about. I want to see them. I'm that fan. I want to see them wrestle.
All right, question. You could, here's we go, and I really didn't want to take the whole show talking about, but it is a good topic. But if you had the choice to kind of redo a show like Total Divas, my preference has always been, what you do is show the road to wrestle, meaning show them training, show them like John Morrison was big with the parkour. Well, see what women like to do. Some are kickboxing fanatics. Some, ground and pound. Some like the amateur style. Show us what they do. And then build up the matches. And then you have, because Renee Young is actually very talented in calling matches. I would love to see her call, the match, play the lead caller, have a former legend wrestler with her like Medusa, since she's allowed back. I would love to see them call some matches, and you, instead of having it about drama, you have it about wrestling.
Yep.
And you're giving girls a chance to go, wow, that's really good. That's something I want to do. What do you think about that?
That's a good idea. Basically, I have no idea what's going on with all the writers and all the crap that goes on up in the hierarchies of the bigger companies. I really don't.
Yeah.
But it would be a lot better. They keep pitching, the biggest WrestleMania. It's not. Like, look at the Crown 2-3, as compared to when they're giving away tickets just to fill the freaking building. Okay? That wouldn't happen if, I think, if people was more behind the scenes in wrestling. That's Chantal. He in charge of
yeah,
and he likes wrestling. If somebody with a mind like Tracy's mother, somebody who loves wrestling and wants it to be what it is and what it was always meant to be, if they were in charge of writing storylines and putting together matches, I think that wrestling will be a much bigger draw than it is. But you have so much going on television, on mainstream television with wrestling that's not entertaining, and then you have a million indie shows that are awful. I mean, awful, and they're just killing the market of wrestling because, say you have 3 terrible shows that run in a town, and a really good show wants to come into the town. Well, the people that are in the town have been chased away by these terrible shows. They're like, no, we've been out there. It's awful. They don't recognize that it's a different show. You got to weed out the bad and something.
Well, and that's the way the business has gotten. Some states, more companies are developing. There's other states that there's got so many laws that you got to do now and all this stuff. And so with all the states that don't have any laws for it, it's got to be in mass hysteria, where there's more wrestling companies than there need to be.
Even the states that are commissioned have more companies than they need to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to run a wrestling company, I want to see a plan. What's your plan? Who do you plan on using? If you want to have a wrestling license, I want to see a picture of you in gear. I want you to look like a wrestler. I want a write up. I want a biography. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I prefer wrestling as a commission. I love that it has wrestling commission in Virginia and stuff like that, because if you're not doing anything wrong, then the commission's only going to protect you.
Yeah.
At least I know that if I have an agreement with someone in Deer Lick, Kentucky, that I don't have to worry about, am I going to show up and not get paid? You know, like what's going to happen if the commission protects you. I wish that they did a little bit more in depth as far as, you know, checking up with the trainers. Like, I wish they had and I'm sure there's not time or not resources, but I'd like them to see videos of the people like wrestling in training. Like, okay, this person, they can wrestle, they can take care of themselves, they're not going to hurt themselves or anybody else. Yes, you can have a license, but if you can't, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. For guys to actually have a situation where if you can't do it, you didn't do it. Go ahead.
And I agree with you. I mean, we actually do training with our company, and you know, I never made it to the top, but I got close, and I train a lot of the young guys that want to come through, and I push them. I've gotten guys to different places where they've been able to go on and further their career, and they're making moves. So, you know, you want these guys to do something, and a lot of guys will say, you know, I don't, you know, you've been in rings that you're like, really? I don't even feel safe in here. But then you've been in rings where you're like, okay, this is going to be a great night because the ring feels real comfortable. I know where everything is. It's a good bumping ring. And then
people don't understand. They think that wrestling rings are like mattresses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not it. Those are ropes. Those are steel cables. Those are freaking 2x4s over steel beams. It's not soft. I've been on mats that literally had a layer of extremely cheap carpet padding, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's hard. I wrestled in rings where the ropes fell through or like broke, you know, second match into the show. So they're like, hey guys, don't use the ropes. You better not. You know what I mean? Like, that's where your training comes into play. Because if you're a spot monkey who is planning on doing a bunch of like crazy crap, you know, like you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't you love spot monkeys? Anyway, let's talk about, like, you know, the one popular thing is ring. So what do you, I mean, craziest matches, you know, we talked about like your opponents, but what matches, you know, let's talk about the range of matches you've been in. Like submissions, Ironmans or Iron Women, cage. What all have you been in your career?
I've been dog collar match. I've been in multiple cage matches. I've been in a flag on a pole match. I've been in four corners matches. I'm trying to think. I've been in falls count anywhere matches. You know, no DQ. I haven't done hardcore, and I won't ever. But pretty much just about most gimmick matches and any other thing you could think of. I've been in fatal four ways. I've been in triple threats. I've been in numerous tag matches, single matches. Like I've done it all.
All right. So we just talked about the type of matches you have. The look, you know the looks you get in the back. You know, have you ever, you know, you got out, you done a match with whoever, and it just stuns everybody to go, wait a minute, a chick just did that, and now I got to follow that up.
That's so funny, because I was just talking to somebody earlier today, and I was telling them about a match that me and Sarah Feeney had. And it was the most recent one that stood out in memory. But we did a table of ladders and chairs match. I forgot about that one. Up at RWA in West Newton, Pennsylvania. And we've been telling a good story for months. You know, like I'm this evil chick who has been like killing the good guy, and have, you know, people to help me out at ringside. By the end of the match, there was every bit of 350, 400 people on their feet, screaming and pounding chairs on the ground. And we were like fourth. It was like 3 matches to follow. And the first thing that I hear was, great, now we have to follow that. What are we supposed to do? And I just said,
all right,
have fun.
All right, everybody, pack up and leave.
That was the main event. See ya. These guys are going to clown around.
Yes.
Oh, God. Well, that's cool. That in the match and aspect, what has been, you know, because like I was going to say, you got 3 stages of wrestling. Obviously, the wrestling ring. Then you have the crazy locker room. And let's just go ahead and say it, the wonderful road to wrestling. i.e. road trips.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, legendary road trips. And I understand I don't have a rating, so we can go wherever. But what have been some moments that you just won't forget that just keep making you laugh when you think about it?
There's so many because I have had like the honor and the blessing, to be on the road with Pops, Tracy's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been just so many like instances and stories and just getting to hear him talk, and tell you about like the way that wrestling was. But there's one road trip, and I know there's a video online that got posted because so here's the deal. We're coming back from the ECW throwback pay-per-view that TNA did.
Okay, I remember that one.
And it was me and Pops, Mickey Knuckles, and a guy who we used to have as our muscle. We're in, security, family security. So anyway, the Pops never wants me to drive, ever, because there's a good chance that if I'm driving, I'm doing between 80 and 90 and doing my makeup and talking on the phone and just
I got you.
Kissing me while driving and scaring Pops to death.
How are you driving? With my toe.
I'm driving with my knee, Pops. It's okay. So this story, I ended up getting to drive because Pops was asleep, right? And Mickey Knuckles was tired, so I'm driving. And so I have my GPS going, and my GPS is telling me which way to go. Now, Pops don't like the GPS. He always asks me, he'll show me, he'd be like, you ever seen this? You know what this is? It's a map. Pops is all about the map. So he doesn't even need it because he always knows where he is because he's been on the road, only like 25, 30 years, you know? So, but anyways, he's all about his map. Well, my GPS tells me to go a different way than what he had said. So I'm like, yes, because Pops is asleep. So I'll follow the GPS and get off on this different highway. I'm telling you, he wakes up, he's like, where are you at? Where are you going? No, around. Turn around. So I turn around off the highway that I took, that he told me to take, and I'm telling you, we beat him and traffic is stopped. Okay, and I can see whatever it is, like I can see blue lights up in the distance. I can't see exactly, but I can see blue lights. So after a good 3 hours, and I really have to use the bathroom, everybody has to use the bathroom. Pop's sleeping. Pop's asleep. So we get out and like walk up into the woods, use the bathroom, and we just decide since we're bored, we're gonna break out our little flip camera and we're gonna record people. Like we're interviewing people on the side of the road with this camera, and Pop's asleep the whole time. And it was literally almost 6 hours that we were stuck in traffic. So it was really funny. There's another one where it was me and wrestling rock star Ryan Howe and Pop.
Skid marks.
We're coming back. Yeah, we're coming back from somewhere in Virginia. I don't even remember the name of the town, but we're coming back on a Saturday. It's like a 15-hour drive, okay? And I promised my mom that I was going to be at my church's homecoming on Sunday morning. Like I had to be there, 10 a.m. Okay?
Oh.
So, yeah. So the show ran super late. I have no idea why we were there till almost midnight, but regardless, the Pops drives like the first 3 hours or something like that, and Pops drives the speed limit. He's not trying to get pulled over, deal with no drama. He's like, do the speed limit, just do what you got to do. Life goes on. Why was the speed limit? And then Pops is like, I'm getting tired. Ryan, we drive. Ryan's like, yeah, Tracy, I got you. I don't mind driving. And then Tracy just looks at him and he's like, whatever you do, don't let my daughter drive. Okay, and he would tell everybody this. We go on road trips. Don't let Jessie Belle drive. Don't let my daughter drive. Heaven help us. Don't let her drive. So Ryan drives for a good, 3 or 4 hours, and Ryan's getting tired. And I'm just, watching the clock, the whole time. Like, my mom's going to kill me. I got to get to church. You know what I mean? And so Ryan's he was like, can you drive, or we're going to have to, pull over, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I got it. It's cool. I'll drive. So pull over. We switch seats. I drive. I'm showing you what. And Pops, he can wake up and look at a mile marker on the highway And by that mile, he knows, like, how long it should take to get to where we're going. Like I said, he ain't been doing this long, only 25, 30 years, you know? So he knows, like, about what time we should be hitting what towns. You know, even if he's asleep, he wakes up, looks at the clock, looks at the mile marker. So he's like, but he was tired. So luckily for me, he slept. So I'm doing every bit of it. I'm not kidding you. Between 100 and 130 in the little car. Every bit of it. The whole way. So at one point, Pop woke up. He wakes up, slow down, God. And I'm like, all right, Pop. He's like, where are we at? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, have we made it to Bluefield yet? And I was like, maybe, I don't know, Pops. I haven't, you know, I don't remember the last time that I've seen. What Pops doesn't realize is we're completely out of West Virginia. According to his radar, we should have just been breaking into West Virginia. We're out of West Virginia. Like, we're coming up on Ashland, okay? Like, I'm moving. So he goes back to sleep. Now he's done, like, he's rested. He's not going to be, like, sleeping. So he's, like, waking up. And, like, I think it was, like, 30 minutes later, he wakes up, and I'm coming up on Mount Sterling. And he was like, where are we at? Where are we at? He's looking around. I'm like, and he's like, we're in Charleston? And I'm like, nah. And then he saw the sign. He's like, we're in Mount Sterling. Oh, my God. And he starts freaking out. Like, slow down. Oh, my God. I'm going to kiss the ground when I get out of this car. And he's going on. And I've shaved every bit of, like, 3.5 hours off the trip by driving so fast. Not condoning it, not saying it's a good thing, not saying it's a smart thing. But I'm saying if I didn't get to church, my mom was going to tan my hide as old as I was, okay? So Ryan's trying to sleep in the back seat, and Pop's telling me to slow down. We're going through construction and stuff, and there's no construction workers on site, okay? It's Sunday. They're not working. I'm not endangering any construction workers. Just want to get that out there. But anyway, me and Pops are arguing over, you know, over how fast I'm going and stuff like that. And I'm telling them, like, Pops, it'll be all right. There's shift change right now. The cops are changing shifts. The cops who are on duty, they're on their way home. They don't want to write no more tickets. The cops that are about to come on to duty, they're at the precinct. They're doing their pre-shift meeting.
Donuts!
I'm like, Pops, I was like, I was a criminal justice major. I did ride-alongs. You know, I know this. It's going to be fine. He's like, so let me get this straight. You're telling me that you could drive as fast as you want to. Cops ain't going to write you a ticket because the ones that are on duty are on their way home, and the ones that are about ready to come on duty, they're at the precinct. They ain't on the street yet. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, oh, my God, would you just slow down, you know, stuff like that. And Ryan is in the back seat. He can't sleep, and he's just dying laughing. He's cracking up. And then Pop's like, so what you're telling me is we're not going to get pulled over. I'm like, no. He's like, we can get away with anything. And I'm like, pretty much. So he's like, well, screw it. Let's go rob a bank. We can just rob a bank if the cops that are on duty are on their way home and the cops that are getting ready to come on. Well, they're at the precinct. And I'm like, well, cops, you know what? If it wasn't Sunday and the banks were open, we probably could. You know, and he's just like, oh, my God. So he literally, like, when we got home, and I did make it to church, by the way. I did make it to church on time. Like, I was drifting in and out of sleep because, you know, I had driven all the way to Virginia, done a show, and driven all the way back on no sleep. Didn't make it to church on time, though. But anyways, Pops, like, he opens the door, and he does a shoulder roll out of the car, and he sits to the ground. So he made it. And he's talking to Ryan, and he's calling him Diamond, because he used to wrestle my Diamond Steel. He's like, no, Steel, you let my daughter drive. She's insane. She's a mad woman. They haven't helped me. My daughter's in the business, you know, just going on. And Ryan's still just laughing. It was the most ridiculous hour-long conversation and drive.
Oh, my Lord. That's the beauty of driving. That's the beauty of, you know, or you have a veteran in the car with you, you're driving, and you hear, why is Brian doing that? He's going the wrong way. Follow him, dummy. And then, of course, Ryan walks out of the car. Did I go the wrong way? Yeah, you did.
I didn't have my GPS working.
Yeah, of course, because it was Donald. But anyway, what are, like, you know, places that you loved wrestling, like your favorite? And I mean, you don't have to be coy and say Georgia, but, you know, it would be nice. But anyway, what are your favorite spots to wrestling? Like, what cities? What favorite venues are there that the action, you know, the fans just catch on and they just you don't want to leave because the action is fun and the atmosphere is great.
Oh my gosh, there's several. I want to start with one of the first places that I was ever a wrestling manager. It was at USWS. It's no longer around, but it was in McKinney, Kentucky. They ran bi-weekly shows, and I'm telling you, it didn't matter if there was a blizzard going on. It was right in the middle of BFE. And when I say BFE, I mean the nearest McDonald's is like 35 minutes away. Okay? This is in the middle of nowhere, and there was always, I mean, absolutely packed. 350, 400, like you couldn't fit any more people in that old ran down gym that they run in. But they loved their wrestling. It was so much fun. It was like one of my first experiences. And I went wrestling for RWA. That's in West Newton, Pennsylvania. I'm their ladies champion right now. Even though it's in Pennsylvania, like it's like an old Southern crowd. I'm telling you what, it is just so much fun. I get excited on the road trip going because I know that I'm going to make people mad. I'm going to have fun, and it's just like it's awesome. Also, I really enjoy working for UIW in Georgia. They always have like really good fans who just hate my guts, and that makes it all the more fun. Ohio Valley Wrestling, of course. Where would be another like regular show that I get? There's so many that I don't do a whole lot. There was a flea market that was in Alcoa, Tennessee, that I used to do for what was the name of it? TWA in Alcoa. Man, those fans, they were insane. Like that, the first few shows I went to, I guess they were used to just getting up and chasing. Like I would be ringside, with a guy, at one match we had a little faction there, and there'd be fans that would chase, the other manager around, and like a couple of them trying to get up on me, and that they were that into it. There was one lady who hit someone with a car in the parking lot because she thought that the girl was me. Not kidding. Like that's heat. That's heat.
Damn. Right there, I'm gonna tell you, if we ever get that kind of heat, I ain't hanging with you because you will throw me in front of a car. I know you.
I know I will.
Sheesh, you and your son.
You get me in the wrong venue. Like I'm telling you guys what, I've had riots started in West Virginia where the police were called, in Tennessee, like fights. Like I've had to call police to like get people to leave my car 2 hours after the show because they're standing around waiting for me. Like people standing around the back door where they know people are coming out ready to start fights and stuff. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't believe it. You would not believe it. It's the funniest thing ever. I wish I had cameras on me all the time so y'all could see this nonsense. It's funny though.
That's it. You got to come down to DCWM. We'll get all the commissions and everything set up there. But yeah, you just got to come back. Yeah, you can definitely. We definitely love to have you on our family. So we're a bunch of nutballs anyway. So
just message me on Facebook and we'll talk about that. We'll get that lined up.
The Unholy Alliance is like that. We have people want to kill us.
Yeah, but that's for other reasons too. But anyway, yes.
What gets me is people are afraid to get heat, or like they don't. they think, oh, I'm over. I'm a cool heel. No, you're not. You don't know how to work, and you're not good. Because if you were good, you're not over as a heel. People hate you. They want to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's what a good heel is.
Oh
I don't care what you say. I'm a good heel because I hate everybody.
You know what? Hell, just show up and you can train half the roster, for God's sakes. Oh my God, I love her. I'll tell you what, redheads are bad for my health, but I'll take another. Dear God, that's what Father John teaches us.
Right.
Yes, you do, and we love it. What we all say, "What do you see yourself in 5 years?" We already know the wrestling, everything. We just got to say this. What's the best part? Is it the travel? Is it the people? Or is it just working in the back and just be able to, work on your craft and just get people to hate you and you having to wait for a couple hours to get to your vehicle? But what is it about wrestling that just, makes you just go all out for it?
I'll tell you what, it's that 10 to 20 minutes from curtain to curtain. From the time I walk out to the time that I walk in, especially in front of a live crowd. I mean, I especially love Southern crowds, but if you get like a crowd that's into it and that why I do it. I get to be someone's either their hero or their arch nemesis, but it's that amount of time that I get to entertain and take people away, from all the drama they have going in their life, and they just enjoy being at a show and cheering or booing or, whatever it is. It's the 10 to 20 minutes I get to spend curtain to curtain helping people escape reality and escaping reality myself.
What is it like? Was it someone said that you sound like a female Roddy Piper? I'm gonna tell you,
People tell me that all the time.
Being a straight shooter, you're definitely making an impact on everybody. What superstar? I know you said attitude era, but what superstar, what personality that you just clanked on and said, "Person, God, I want to whoop that kind of ass. I want to, I want to hone my skills around."
When I was young and watching wrestling, I would have said I wanted to be Trish Stratus. I definitely like to think of myself, because somebody said it to me once. They're like, "You're like the female Roddy Piper. You just don't care, and you're able to get people that emotionally involved." And as I, grown in wrestling and studied my tapes and watched and learned my history, and that's like one of the biggest honors that I could ever have, is to be compared to someone like Roddy Piper. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. I'm not too crazy. I don't do a lot of crazy stuff in the ring. I'm a pretty simple wrestler, but I get the point across. I'm believable, and most of the time I shoot straight. If I say I hate West Virginia, I really do hate West Virginia. I hate the people there. I really don't like them, and that, what, my attitude and my persona and stuff like that has spawned from what I dealt with as a kid. Everybody was mean to me when I was in middle. I don't need no. Okay. Sorry. I got completely off track for a second. People were mean to me in school for no reason. I wasn't an ugly kid. I wasn't. I was smart. I was. I'd like to think that I was attractive. I could find pictures so you guys could validate that or not. I was extremely athletic. For whatever reason, people chose not to like me. And my mother would always say, "It's jealousy. People are jealous of you, so they're just going to be hateful." And no matter how nice I tried to be to people, they were hateful to me. So I just grew up to where, what, I'm just going to be hateful. If I like you, I like you, and I'll be there. I'll always shoot you straight. I'll do anything I can for you. If I don't like you, then I'm not going to pretend to neither. So that's who I am in the ring. That's who I am everywhere. I'm going to shoot you straight, just like fucking Piper would.
I don't like you. I love you, and let us be the first to. Yeah.
Can I say something? If I get a nice diamond ring, will you marry me? Because I need somebody like you in my life.
I've done the whole marriage and divorce thing a couple times. I think I'm going to hold off on that for a while.
Trust me, he has to. But anyway, and he's trying to look for wife number 50? No, that's Father John. Sorry. Yeah. But anyway, and by the way, those pictures we will definitely vouch and like to look, and we'll give you all the info and our judgment call. But it will go just fine, we think. But yeah, I got to say, I'm very impressed with you. I love watching your matches, Jessie. You definitely tell the story. What are ways that if people, promoters, promotions want to book you? I know you probably already have yourself lined up with a lot of places, but what are ways that to get a hold of you? This is kind of where I'm going to start. I'd start putting that out there when we put up these videos, so people can go, "Man, I really like what she's saying. I want to see if I can get her in the show." They can get a hold of you.
I do all of my bookings through Facebook. If you message me on Facebook, I don't like to do it over the phone, because I like to have it on writing, because I don't like there to ever be any misconception of I said this or you said that. No, here it is, black and white. So I keep it in writing. I do everything on Facebook Messenger, and then after I start working with you, then I'll give somebody my phone number, and we keep up through text messages and stuff like that.
All right. No, that's always good. And like I said, check her out on Twitter. She's freaking hilarious. One Jessie Belle, I believe that's your Twitter handle. And by the way, I love the comment about the biscuits and the gravy. Very good. I think that's very sound advice.
If they ain't your biscuits, stay out of the gravy. It's literally that simple. It might sound a little hokey or country, but I mean, I'm country. I'm a freaking redneck. That's what it is. You know, I like to fish. I like to hunt. I like the outdoors. I was raised in the Bible Belt. You know, like I'm just a country girl.
And we're here. We're about to unveil the Bible Belt Championship on our Saturday show. So, give us some dates that you're going to be wrestling. Because all wrestling talk, I like to try and let people know if they like somebody. I want to get them to their websites or let them know of important dates. What's upcoming dates for you in wrestling?
Well, just about any Wednesday, you can find me at Ohio Valley Wrestling, 4400 Shepherdsville Road in Louisville, Kentucky. I wish I had my calendar. I actually forgot it. I know I have a lot of dates coming up for UIW in the Atlanta area, like Temple, Buchanan, Georgia, Villa Rica, and you can find all this. Like, I will be posting shows. I do really good at advertising my shows and helping, like, my promoters who are booking me, letting my fans know, hey, I'm going to be here. I have a show coming up April 19th is a date that I have for RWA. That's in West Newton, Pennsylvania. I'm going to put you on speaker real quick because I can actually get to my date just a little bit better.
That is fine.
Okay. And I've got something coming up in Morristown, Tennessee on the 18th of June. Let's see, because I have a whole lot of dates and it's so hard to get to them. Okay. May 4th, I'll be in for UIW. June 20th, July 18th, August 15th, September 19th, October 17th, and October 31st, November 21st. Those are all Universal Independent Wrestling dates that are located in Georgia. So they run out of Buchanan, Georgia, Temple, Villa Rica. It's definitely a really good show. They've got a pretty awesome roster. So you can come check those out. RWA, they run out of West Newton, Pennsylvania. And I think the next show I have there is on the 18th of April, and then I'll be there the 16th of May. And let's see, I know I have something in June there too. Well, regardless, I'll put them all up on my Facebook. I have so many dates, and the fact that I forgot my calendar is killing me right now because I could give you so many more. But if you check onto my Twitter at Jessie Belle, or if you log onto my Facebook, which is just Jessie Belle Smothers fan page, I'll always pitch my shows, and I do them a minimum of a month in advance. Like, as soon as I know that I'm on the show, I'll mention it. And then us coming on the show, like I repeatedly mention it and share the flyers and all that.
Awesome. See, and that's how has before we get off the show here, how has social media impacted bookings and doing shows and stuff of that sort?
It's all about social media. Like, people don't get it. Like, all these wrestlers, like, I'll see them, like, and I'll see them at a show that I'm booked on. And if they weren't pictured on the poster, I had no idea they were going to be there because they don't promote. But then those are the same people that are like, why don't I have a belt? Why can't I get more pay? Why can't I do this? Well, if you help promote the show, if you paid your dues, if you were a draw, then you would. You know, you have to, it's all about advertising yourself. Pop calls me the queen of social media. And that's because I am always on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm always telling people where I'm going to go. They know, like, who I'm fighting where. They know what championship belts I have. And usually they know what I'm going to do without telling them. I see Sarah Feeney, next time I see her, you know, I respect her. I like her as a person, but I'm going to put the boots to her in the ring, and this is where it's going to happen. And I'm going to win, you know. And
take a picture
I usually do.
Take a picture of your boots and say, see, this is going up your butt when you see me next time. Lord, I love wrestling. Is there any, like, final thoughts you got to say? Anything? Because I appreciate the time that you've given, and I know you're traveling up to OVW tonight. What's anything you'd like to say for fans or anyone that would like to know more, or at least, you know, thanks or final thoughts or thanks to acknowledgments to people that, you know, got you where you're at?
Well, I definitely want to thank Top because he's been the only person in my life who has supported me, encouraged me, and just wanted me to do better. So thank you, Pop. I want to thank Nikki Knuckles because she did devote a lot of time and effort into training me. Brian Knobb, Chris Hero, Ohio Valley Wrestling has done so much for me. And I just want to thank the fans because, like, that's what people don't get, like, and when they make it, they forget. Like, I've literally heard AJ Styles saying, "Oh, fuck, now I got to go out here and sign these fucking autographs for fans." Use my language, but how dare you? You wouldn't be anywhere without the fans, and you know that's what you're in it for. And you're a fan too. If you're a good wrestler, you're a fan and you love wrestling. I don't care what people say. You know, oh, you're a mark, blah blah blah. You're damn right. I'm a mark. I absolutely fucking love wrestling, which is why I'm a damn good wrestler.
I love her. I really do. All right. Well, look, I got to tell you, thank you so much. I appreciate your passion and your heart for the business and, you know, for wrestling in general. I told you this earlier, and I'll tell you again. Anytime you want to be on the show, please let me know. We'll set it up phone, online, however you like. We will do it because I love interviewing you. You always come up with just a straight up, you know, from the heart, and I love it. We need more women like you and more wrestlers, period, like you, to not just hide around and give up the BS answer, to just say what's on your mind and say on your heart. And you know what? That's me. Get over it. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, basically, like, I try to live by something that my pops told me a long time ago. And it's a quote that I'll go ahead and quote. He says, "A person's only worth their word, and they determine what they're worth. And if a person's not worth their word, then they're not worth their time." I don't do this talking out of the side of my neck. I don't pretend to like you and then talk crap about you. If I have an issue with somebody, I always tell them, I always confront them, you know. I've heard that I've been referred to as the devil in professional wrestling. I'm the devil because I don't stroke people's egos. I don't do what it takes to make it to the good time, or because I'm not fake. That's fine. Let me be the devil. But at least, you know what? If I'm going to stab you, I'm going to stab you in your chest and not in your back.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we love you. We're going to take you. We'll take you. We're going to go ahead and tell you, you're always welcome to Georgia. Yeah, we got a bunch of crazy. We got a bunch of crazy guys. We love you.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. Well, look, for real, Jessie, thank you so much. Guys, if you want to get a part and check her out, go on Twitter. It's @1JessieBelle. You said you're on Instagram?
I am on Instagram. I think it's Jessie Belle 85 or @1JessieBelle 85. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm always putting like ridiculous pictures up, or funny pictures, or like random videos and stuff like that, just because I do a lot of long drives and I get bored. So I have to entertain myself. Just like Pop says, we got to entertain ourselves. So I'm just doing dumb stuff. And if you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. You can find all kinds of crap on YouTube. Most of it, a lot of old stuff, some new stuff, but hopefully you'll get a giggle and find something entertaining to watch on there.
All right, well, I got you followed now on my Instagram, just so you know. And, you know, I appreciate it. Yeah, C-Double likes to make wrestlers on PS3, but understand I enjoyed making your wrestler. Want to thank you, like I said, for your passion, because a lot of guys and a lot of women can definitely learn from you. And I do. I'm not just saying that to stroke your ego.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your time. We'll definitely be communicating again. Like I said, I'd love to have you again on the show. You kick butt, take names, and you have a good time. All right, Jess?
All right. Y'all have a good day.
All right, you too. God bless. Be good, or be good at it. God bless. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jessie Belle from the Indy circuit, UIW. You can check her out when she comes to Georgia, Temple area. One of the wrestlers that won't mix words. She'll tell you what she thinks of you. Definitely can learn a lot from that. So that's also missing rare quality there. You got any final word for her?
Just like she said, there's fake wrestlers, there's real wrestlers. The people that want to do it, they put their time and their effort into it. I'm not in the best of shape in the world, but you know what? I still put everything I got into it. I still remember it. I still know how to do it, and I use it. So same thing she said. Put your time and effort into it, fall in love with it, and you have a good time with it.
Yeah, all I can say is, respect the passion, respect the business. Guys out there, want to do everything. You got guys now lay it all on the line in that ring. It always puts a toll on them, but so it will on the women too. So just because you see a woman wrestler, it's not just for looks and you think you're going to get an easy lay out of it. They're working their butts off trying to perfect their craft. Respect them. And you know what? God bless. I appreciate everyone checking it out. Appreciate the comments that we were getting. God bless you guys. Come back tomorrow. We're going to have Kathy Owens, the kitten, on the show tomorrow. And also, I believe, Be Furious. I'm going to work it all out. Everything will be promoted. Yep.
And mention sponsors.
And the sponsors, of course. I want to thank Big Dog Lawn Care. Guys, you want to get your lawn taken care of, definitely check those guys out. And then definitely want to go and thank Disciples of Christ Wrestling Ministries for giving us the opportunity. We're on the poster this go-round, and also Championship Rising is this Saturday. So 4 o'clock. Or next, I'm thinking of another place. Sorry, but 4 o'clock we'll be there too. But at 6 o'clock, the doors are going to open. 7 o'clock, the bell time. So we'll have some great matches, some big announcements in the beginning. So guys, bear with us. We'll have fun with it. Brian Titus will be in action.
Remember Casey's.
By the way, in Aja Pare, if you're ever in Winder, the best place to go for a good burger is Casey's in Winder. That's right, Casey's in Winder. It's open between 11 to 2, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's worth every penny. Well, look, this is Brian Titus. He's got to go do it. He's got to do his awesome workout. We got to go find a awesome one. And I'm C-Double. I'm out.